So, Gary, at the point that we've switched back to inside here, you were about to go into the men's group. You talked about the first time when you went and you had a whole reaction to going into the group. And the second time, you actually got into the door and you were saying that you were in the meeting and greeting phase, having coffee.
Yeah.
And then they...
Coffee and Scotch finger biscuits.
And Scotch finger biscuits, wow. Thanks for that level of detail. That's But then there's this other room.
There was the other room.
The other room.
And the invitation was to go in there.
And it was that became interesting.
Yes, my fear level really rose.
Right, yes.
I was rather anxious. I noticed.
And so this is because you were scared to go. What was all the fear about?
What I realised now was that I was afraid to discover who I really was. I feel I instinctively knew that I would need to go through some level of my trauma to release it. Yeah. And, I'm a deep pain avoiding creature.
Well, you must be the only
probably
person.
the only Freud quotes I ever used.
Yeah.
Deeply a pleasure seeking and pain avoiding being.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but I know I can.
Yeah.
Especially if I've got to do, if I think anything remotely like purging.
I'd rather, be injured physically than have to do this emotional revisiting. Well, yeah.
Well, for some people it is crap.
Well, it is crap. That's the story.
Yes.
It's just emotional crap and baggage. Get over it.
Yeah.
Build a bridge. Go to Bunnings.
Yeah.
Harden the F up.
Yeah.
Suck it up, princess.
Yeah,
all those things.
And
it actually doesn't work. All it does is actually harden my heart.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be. I wish that I tried all that for 42 years and I hit rock bottom.
Yeah. So, the second room.
The second room. That's where the action happened. So you got into the second room. Yep. I think before you said that somebody actually kind of invited you. The gentleman who seemed to be someone who knew what they were doing invited the men into the other room, and I was part of that.
Okay. So
did you really include me in that? I've had my tea and my Scotch finger. I think I might go home.
They might have picked that up.
I think they did.
Yeah.
I think looking back now, they're all fairly attuned to body signals and body language.
And of course, they've all been there before themselves.
Yes, I heard wonderful stories of men on their first night.
Yeah. So this is your journey into this second room, and then what happened?
Well, I went in, and it was sort of a little bit lower lighting.
Yeah.
With standing lamps.
Yeah. And
there were these bean bags all around the walls.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I thought, where are the mirrors? And, but the men I just sat straight down, and one of the men invited me to sit next to him.
They didn't seem like aliens or fruit.
No, they didn't. That was my thing. It was like, no one here is chanting, nobody's holding hands. There wasn't even any hugging.
Oh.
I would have gone definitely home if it had been home.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No way am I doing that.
It's okay.
Whatever it is, I'm not doing it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So that was and I just remembered the man on the phone saying, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. You don't have to go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Choice.
It's a choice. Yeah. I'll give it a try.
Yeah. I
sat in the beanbag. Hadn't sat in the beanbag since the 70s, man. Wow.
Flashbacks,
yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. And then now he was the facilitator for that night, and said, now we're going to do a check-in, and that involves, how's your week been? How's it going for you, and how are you feeling? But he said, we do have a new man tonight, so I'm just going to invite Gary to share a little bit of his background with us. And he says, just your name, your age, where you're living, relationships, kids, and what brings you here, sort of thing.
Sounds simple.
Sounds very simple. And And then he said also, before we start, just because we do have a new man tonight, we're just going to revisit our guidelines.
Okay.
So he talked about confidentiality. And I got that because I've been doing therapy,
Okay.
other group programs. So I could even contribute a little bit to that.
Yeah.
Respect. So I respected myself, respect the other men, respect the space. One man talking at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, listen,
Mm-hmm.
which is still pretty foreign to me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this one. I love the most. I have a right to pass.
Mm.
So I didn't have to contribute. I didn't have to participate. I could sit and just stay and observe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that made it a lot safer for me to be there.
Yeah.
So then, after that, then I just said who I was, my age, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm here because I really don't know how to be a man, how to be a father.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sort of, and maybe you guys might have some idea. Maybe. And then after that, he said, okay, I'll ask the other men to check in. So I just listened in awe. These men shared how they were during the week and what was happening in their lives, how they were with their partners if they had them, or their kids if they had them. But the most amazing thing was they shared how they were feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
And like for me, my only feeling I probably was allowed to express was angry,
Yeah.
really pissed off, frustrated.
Yeah.
So they shared lots of others.
Okay.
And then it came to me and I passed.
Right.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And a big part, another part of me said, get the F out of here. Now. And so, but my legs were immobilised. Like I'm a bit of jelly. So I was stuck in that beanbag. I think it had suction in it. Especially designed beanbag so you couldn't leave the group.
Just for G. Simpson.
Well, maybe for every other one else.
Yeah,
It was
maybe.
like,
But for that
it
particular
felt like
time...
I'd sort of had just a physical inertia almost.
Wow! I can really. I'm sure many people can relate to the idea of being somewhere where you know it's good for you to do it, and you also want to get the hell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I did. There was one of the men read some poetry at the end of that night.
Oh, right.
And at first I thought, whoa, but he had really, look, seriously, he had a deeper and more resonant voice than you have.
I didn't think that was possible.
No, I didn't think either, but apparently this man was just the deepest, sweetest, it was voiced like honey.
Wow.
And he just had this book called The Rag and Bone Shop of the Heart.
Oh, wow.
That's a book I recommend. Beautiful poetry.
Rag and Bone Shop of the Heart.
Yeah, you can get it.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit, it's prose and poetry. And, and he read it, I think it was a Rumi poem.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, I love, because I love poetry in my teenage
Yeah, well, you're a songwriter. Really.
Yeah, and a songwriter, and I write poetry.
Yeah.
So, that was, they called it The Well. I went, what do you mean The Well?
Oh, the name of the poem?
No, what they did at the end of the night.
Oh, okay. What a nice thing.
And he said, well, we all drink from the well. We all take nurturance, something from the well. And we take turns, each man brings a piece to put into the well. And,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So that was a nice way to finish. And the Rumi poem, I think it was the one that all is welcome in the temple.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's just everyone's invited. No one's ever turned away.
Oh, yeah.
In that style. Yeah.
So no matter what your background, what you've done, or what you think you've done, you're welcome here.
Yeah, all is welcome here.
Okay.
So, and brilliant. We don't exclude anybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that finished and I went home and I got sort of a hit saying I'd like to keep doing that.